What's going on, everybody? My name is Michaela and I'm new to this YouTube stuff, but today I wanted to get on here today and show you how to move out when you are 18. A couple tips. I did that, but I wish that I kind of knew a little bit more before moving out, and I kind of want to help people today and let them know what they have to do to be able to do that successfully. Now, no one wants to move out and a couple months later you're back at your parents' house. It's embarrassing. You don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to fail. It's always a really bad feeling to fail. So let's cover a couple of things like that today. So when I moved out, I was 18. I'm 20 now, and so it went well, but I have struggled. Now, let me tell you, a lot of people don't know this because they think that they can just move out when they're 18. You get in an argument with your parents. Oh, I'm moving out when I'm 18. Parents think, oh, they're gonna move out when they're 18, and I'm so grateful. But they don't know a lot of things, and neither do you. Now, some parents do, most of them do, but some people lack that, and I wanna tell you the main thing. So you need to show income. You can have thousands, hundreds, millions. It doesn't matter how much income you have. If you are going to rent an apartment or a house, whatever, when you turn 18, you need to show proof of income. You need to have a job that shows 3 months of steady income. Now, if you are looking at an apartment that is $1,200, let's shoot that. And I'm telling you now, it's gonna cost more than $1,200, but I'm just saying. So just the rent by itself is $1,200. You need to show that you make 3 times that $1,200 in 1 month, but for 3 months. So in total, you need to show that you make over $3,000 a month, but you need to show 3 recent months of that on a pay stub. That's what the apartment people are going to ask you. Now, let's say you make that, right? And you showed that income and whatnot, but you don't have any credit. If you don't have any credit, that can stop you from being approved. Now, not everywhere. Some landlords will allow you to pay a bigger deposit instead of a credit check. Not everywhere, and that's most places they run a credit check as well. Now, my thing is, a lot of parents lack and they don't tell their kids this. And so the thing that parents lack is that they don't tell their kids this until they find out that they need a co-signer. Now, for a co-signer, you need a guardian, a parent, whoever, to show that they make their rent plus your rent. Just in case anything happens to you and you can't afford your rent, the apartment complex is making sure that they can afford your rent if anything happens to your income. Now, that normally they ask to show that your guardian, your co-signer, makes 5 to 6 times that rent. Now, $1,200, you need to show that they need to show that they make by themselves, not including you, that they make 6 times $1,200, So my thing is, what parents really need to let you guys know, and a lot of parents don't do that, that's why I'm here today to tell you that, they can say, yeah, go ahead, move out. You can't if you don't have the steps to move out. You can either do this by yourself, or you can be on good terms with somebody who will co-sign for you, and then there's your problem. Now, it's always a bad feeling to know that a co-signing is a big deal. You have to have somebody's trust for that. Because if something happens to this apartment, let's say you throw a party and you get evicted, that person basically gets evicted too. Their credit goes down, it ruins everything, and that's how you ruin the trust of one another. So you kind of want to avoid having a co-signer. It sucks, it really does. So you want to try to kind of do everything on your own. So you want to try to shoot for proof of income for you, as well as credit, and you kind of want to do that in early stages if you are looking to move out at 18. Now, it doesn't have to be 18, but you just want to make sure that you have that in mind on your way of moving out. Now, budgeting. Budgeting, you have to think about everything that you have to pay for. Now, you might be able to afford that $1,200 a month, but what about everything else? You don't think that just moving out and you want to lay here with no furniture, no fun, whatever. Cool, you might be okay with that, but why not for long? Now, being said that is because the first month you move out and you're brand new at moving out is always the most expensive. Because let's say you move out and you got all this stuff approved and you just have a regular deposit. Most deposits are about $500, stuff like that, to move in. A deposit is what happens if you were to move out and the apartment is in good condition, the same way they gave you the apartment, and it looks the same when you move out. That $500 will come right back to you. Now, if there are damages to the apartment, that $500 is going to probably stay with the apartment. So you want to make sure if you're going to have company over that, what if a soda stain, so someone spills soda on your carpet, you know what I'm saying? It ruins your deposit. So just be very careful of who you have in here. This is your living space. You know, I didn't know what my parents meant when they don't like having company over until I got my own stuff. It's really different when you have your own room at your parents and you want your friends to come over, but when this is your hard-earned money and the stuff you have in here, you don't want people disrespecting your stuff. Now, so there's that $500 deposit. You have your rent. You have to sign up for water, electricity, and those, like when to get a new account, not expensive, but it's more than what your average bill would be. Cable, etc., stuff like that, furniture, groceries, anything like that. And also think about it, if you have a car, your car payment, you have to budget. You have to know how much you're going to have. Now, let's say you don't have renter's insurance. It's your first time moving out. Most complexes, like a bill a month, will provide renter's insurance for you. It's a lot cheaper than paying like whatever you have to do. But my advice to you is, yes, you have to show that income or it's not going to happen, but make sure you have some money saved up. Make sure you kind of have a goal for yourself of what not to go lower in your account. Let's say, for an example, you don't want to go lower than $3,000 in your account. So make sure that you always have $3,000 in your account because of emergencies. Now, that's enough for an extra rent payment, a doctor bill, just like, you know, anything you kind of need, groceries. Just if you go lower than that, it's going to be a little harder. You're going to struggle a little bit more. So just try to budget from that. You know, grocery wise, yeah, taking out food is great, but you have to think about it. You know, if your friends invite you to a dinner and you really want to go, why not eat before? Maybe a couple ramen noodles, those are like 99 cents. Just eat that. You can still go out, have a good time with your friends, but you're not spending $30 on one. But my real advice to you is to definitely try to do it on your own, because you're going to run into that problem. If people say no, then you don't really have a choice but to do that on your own. And it kind of feels good to know that you wouldn't have that. You know, if you have a cosigner, people might tell you how to live, and the whole point of living on your own is to kind of live freely. So build that credit early, show that income, keep it steady. It's a lot easier to do that. And another thing I want to address is roommates. You know, it sounds really great to move out with a roommate because it's cheaper. Awesome. If you guys show that income well, let me tell you this. If you were to choose a roommate to live with and you guys have income and credit, whatever, you only have to show that you guys make 3 times that rent. Not the 5 times like the cosigner, but now if you guys still don't make that income, what if you do make that income, but you don't have that credit? You still need a cosigner. And I'll tell you another problem that a lot of people run into is that, okay, so let's say you need a cosigner for the 2 of you. Your parent might say, yes, I can cosign for you. And then you come to them and say that you want to move out with a friend because it's cheaper. Okay. Well, most parents will say, never mind, because they might trust you, but they don't know what your friend is capable of. What if you are at work, but your parent's on that lease and your friend throws a party and you guys get evicted? What if that person does something bad in the house and you get evicted? It wasn't your fault, but you both lose the house, and that goes on all 3 of you. Now, what happens if you get into an argument with your friend, family, whatever, whoever you're living with, and one of them wants to move out? Okay, how are you going to afford that? Because I'm sure you're going to have a 2-bedroom. How are you going to be able to afford that if that other person moves out? So you got to keep all those things in mind. You also really need to keep in mind about having extra money on the side in case you don't want to live here. If you do get a roommate and that roommate doesn't want to live here anymore and you can't afford it, and you're having trouble looking for another roommate because you don't want to live with some stranger or something like that, you need to make sure you have enough money to break your lease. Because if you fail to pay in a payment, that eviction comes straight to you and your cosigner. Even if you're living by yourself, straight to you, have an eviction. It's a lot harder to move anywhere. For the rest of your life, it really is a lot harder. You know, for your first time, you just want to be successful. You know, you don't want that to happen to you as your first time, so you just want to do it all right so that doesn't happen to you. For breaking your lease, you need to make sure that you have at least, I want to say, 2 times the rent in saved up so that you can break your lease, so that way you avoid any evictions for like not paying your rent and stuff like that. It's always good to know that and have that just so you can plan for the future. So yes, that's just my advice today. Those are some tips that I really want you guys to look for moving out. It doesn't have to be age 18, but just moving out for your first time. And definitely try to do it on your own. It's always better to do everything on your own. It feels better. You don't feel guilt tripped, just everything's on your own. You got to plan for the future just to make sure that you're a step ahead of every situation you could be in. With rent getting a lot higher since the pandemic, it's a lot harder to get approved because of that income. So you might have to work 2 jobs. Your co-signer might not make that money. So you just really gotta know what to do. So my advice is to look into it not 1 month before you're ready to move out. Look at it now, see what areas you like, how much it's gonna cost. Try to shoot a little higher on that rent just to plan it. Think about the utilities, think about your everyday expenses. See if you can sell some stuff you don't use anymore, put it aside for all the emergency money you might need, but save money. Don't move out with a couple $1,000s in your pocket. Make sure you move out when you're comfortable. You don't want to struggle, because I'm telling you right now, it is a horrible feeling. So yeah, that's my advice to you guys. My name is Michaela, and I hope I can make some more videos for you guys. Comment down below what you would like for me to make for you. Subscribe, and I hope that you guys are able to do this. Good luck. Thank you.